Hello everyone, this is Fi. I'm checking out Seraphrame. This is a game I've not played before. We're going to give it a playtest here, see if we can give some feedback. I've got the game page open here. It's mentioning some controls. So it says WASD for movement, hold space to activate the vertical engine and switch to hovering mode, hold shift to switch to flight mode. With inactive vertical engine and legs touching the ground, the mech will automatically switch to ground mode, so apparently this is a mech game. V to toggle camera, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is equip, switch, available weapon. And that's about all, so I guess we're gonna have to try to remember that. It's not exactly a lot to remember, but this is all I've seen so far of the game, what you're seeing on the screen right now. So looks like our settings menu is grayed out, so that hasn't been implemented yet. We got hanger, start and exit, so let's go ahead and click on hanger, see what that does. We got our mech here. It looks like hold right mouse button to rotate, and I almost said rice mouth button. Does that? I don't know. But okay, we can rotate horizontally here. Cool looking mech here with the wing set up. We got pylon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Oh, we actually have things taking gone here. Okay, I saw him kind of squat down a bit. Oh, okay, so it's back here. Okay, so it seems like there's some kind of a weight element being applied here, which is being represented with the legs kind of suspending the weight, which is very interesting. Now, is this necessary to do this before I start? Like, set this up? Do I just not have any weapons if I don't do this first? I'm just gonna go ahead and see what happens. Click on start. Alright, so it seems we're in the game here. It looks like we have... Interesting. So, I have basically free mouse look, but to a degree. You can see how it kind of hits the wall when I try and go too far. But the mech itself also kind of rotates slowly, so it's kind of catching up. But it's interesting that I can't turn around and look behind me. Interesting choice. I'm not sure if I like that necessarily. It could be useful. If I know, like, say I'm facing forward and I know I have to turn 180 degrees around or whatever, I have no choice but to wait either way, but it does mean that once I hit that wall, I have to, like, stop and, like, keep moving the mouse. Like, I have to keep picking the mouse up and moving it. You know what I mean? Until it gets to where I need it to be. Whereas if you don't have that wall there, you can kind of just arbitrarily point it anywhere, and you're still waiting for the mech to turn. Which is quite slow, by the way. But yeah, I wonder if it's necessary to have that kind of limit where it hits the wall like that. But let's see what happens here. So I was noticing there were some numbers. I haven't really looked at these numbers on the screen yet, but there was one of them that was kind of bouncing back and forth between like -90 and 0 or something like that. It's not doing that anymore. So I don't know what all these numbers are. Alright, we're now moving. So it looks like we're skating, we're not walking. Okay, we do have like little thrusters for the sides. Huh. Don't entirely understand how this is working. I guess there's like some friction to be overcome, because when I stop and then I try and move left and right, it doesn't really work, right? But if I hold forward and get up a little bit of speed, now it's like I can shift myself. I'm not really sure why that's the case. If I hold S, right, yeah, you can see it on the, I don't know if you call it the edge case, it's kind of the 0 point or whatever, it's kind of bouncing around there. It's like you need a little bit of a dead zone or something. I don't... Maybe the S is it like a braking effect? I think S works as a brake. It's not dramatic, but and what are the other buttons again? So we have, I don't know if I have any weapons equipped at the moment, but it doesn't say anything about shoot, like, you know, you would assume it would be click left mouse button to shoot the weapon or whatever, but it doesn't mention that on the page here, so it just says space, WSD space bar shift. V is toggle camera, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is switching the weapons. So here's our vertical thrust, which puts us up in the air, and then, oh, okay. That's not really moving left and right as long as you're airborne. On the ground, it seems to kind of, okay, so once you're in the air, that rotates you. That's really interesting. And then, well, why you would want to rotate like that, I'm not sure yet, but okay. Mode is ground, and hovering, and then shift is the flight mode. Okay, we have to hold it down. Oh, so you have to hold shift the whole time, or the wings go back up. Huh. Okay, so in flight mode, need more thrust here. Ooh. Huh. Oh, okay, so we've collided and died apparently. Is there a way to... I guess we just do this. Oh, we've got this right in here. Okay, well, that's the same thing that was on the page. So what I'm trying to figure out is, like, is there actually a reason to use the rotation in order to maneuver? I mean, like, rotation as in rolling. Because it seems like that makes it... Okay. Seems like that makes it a little bit more maneuverable. You know, like an airplane. But it's also... Whoa. Also possible, I guess, to just, like, turn like this. So it's just the fact that it's a little bit hard to tell for sure, like, if one mode of motion is more effective than the other. I kind of like, from a design perspective, I like to make things so that, like, if it's better to do one type of movement over another for a given situation or whatever, I like to make it so it's nice and obvious, you know? Like, sometimes it's not... That was kind of awkward with the camera. Just in general, if you can make that, you know, make the differences between things obvious, I think that just makes a design a bit stronger. It is kind of intuitive that you would sort of, you know, if you've ever played any kind of airplane type of thing, you know, you roll and then pitch to maneuver. That's kind of a intuitive sort of thing, but, you know, just being able to answer those questions, I think it's important for a player to be able to kind of answer that kind of thing quickly, I guess you would say, just through experimentation, if nothing else. I wonder why I keep hitting the wall, like trying to pitch down. Huh. I don't know. The camera is a little weird sometimes, I guess. I guess it's just based on the fact that there's so much inertia that the direction you're actually moving doesn't always match the direction you're facing. And so the camera is following where you're facing, not where you're moving. And I guess that's just something to get used to. Alright, so as far as I know, I don't have any weapons equipped. Were the any other buttons I didn't? Oh, the V is the. There's our cockpit. Ugh. So. One thing I'm not used to personally is like managing a thrust, so I don't think it even shows like an indication of. Because it does say 0% thrust on there, so it seems like there's like a. It's supposed to be like a thrust value, but it isn't showing me anything right now. At the moment, it's I can't really tell if it's anything other than just like on and off. I don't know. In terms of it being like a percentage, like 0 to 100 or whatever. But yeah, that's something that, you know, in flight sims they usually have like a thrust value that's kind of, you know, it's not the same as your speed, and you have to sort of manage that independently. That's something I always dislike. So like for example in boy, why does this feel so awkward to me? For example, in my game, it's pretty tightly associated with your actual speed, the thrust is. So it's not something you have to like actively pay attention to. Like you're not going to intentionally put your thrust at 40% to make a certain maneuver or something like that. But in like a flight sim, then you'd want to manage your thrust more finely like that. You know, in a more simulation-focused flight game. I want to try and make sense of what feels weird to me about this. Aside from the fact that I have a game that also has flying and it controls completely different, which is possibly a factor. But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a big factor. So I'm used to. It is a little weird to me to use A and D for rotating and then use the mouse for pitching. So in my game, and I'm not saying you should do this, I'm just saying that that's what I'm more used to. In my game, it has the mouse does rolling and pitching, then A and D does the yaw. So that's probably a big reason why it just kind of feels weird to me. But yeah. Geez, it is kind of hard to manage the. Something about the. Like I said before, the amount of inertia you have and the way that the camera works, it's kind of like you're going in a direction where you can't really see very well because the camera isn't pointing in the direction you're actually traveling. So it can get a little weird sometimes, and it's like you can't, I don't know if it's as easy to make certain judgments as I would like when it's doing that. Don't really know how to improve that, but let's go ahead and go back to the menu. I'm going to try and like actually set up some weapons and see if I can do something actual gameplay like. I guess we've got, right, pylons. So we have like 6 pylons, right? Auto cannon. Are these all the same? I think they're all the same. Does it make sense to have more than one of the same weapon? I don't know how it worked. It just said you use the number keys to select different weapons. And it did say 1 through 6, and there's 6 pylons, so that would make me think that you're not gonna like use a weapon group, right? You're just gonna use one at a time, I guess. I don't know, let's interesting. So left mouse button doesn't appear to do anything, at least not that I see so far, but right mouse button actually shoots, which is unexpected. It should usually the left mouse button that you would expect to do that. Is there an ammunition? I don't see any such. It's weird that it kind of toggles. Oh, okay, so I guess you can do like weapon groups. You just kind of toggle them on and off. Oh, okay, so that explains why it was right mouse button and not left mouse button. Apparently it's which side of the mech that you have it equipped on, so you can equip 2 at once. That's pretty cool. And then okay. Interesting. Okay, so this has like a long sort of reload time, I guess. There's no sort of visual indication or any such for that yet. I think we can expect that in the future. Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, it's a little awkward. I guess you'd want to do like my thought is I would want the, like, if you're going to use the numbers 1 through 6, then maybe you'd want like the first numbers to be the left side and then the last numbers to be the right side, you know, so it's kind of more spatially laid out. It's very unusual otherwise to like connect where they are spatially with where the keys you're pressing are spatially. Like, it doesn't really make sense unless you like line up the keys with actual wing slots, I think. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm not sure if people would want to use all 6 at the same. I mean, obviously that's an option, but I can imagine a lot of times people would want to use less, so maybe they just do, you know, you'd have to set it up the way you want, I guess. If you just want to use 1, 2, 3, and 4, then I guess you do it that way. But yeah, I guess you have to just put that little bit of thought into it so you don't end up with a control scheme that's too confusing for you. Alright, so I'm going to equip 1 and 2 and see if I can shoot something. Oof. Okay. That hover booster is not as strong as I wish it was. Alright. Do I have to keep holding W? It seems like if I don't, then it'll eventually slows down. Can I like... Oof. Oh gosh, it's so awkward. Okay. I think it might just be hard for me to get used to the idea of the roll being on A and D. Whoa, holy moly. I'm not hitting where I want to. Well, there it goes. Okay. I shot something. Geez, it is really hard to overcome the inertia, isn't it? Hover booster, slow me down. Come on, booster, you can do it. Oh, I don't know if some of these boosters could just be a little stronger or something. Yeah, I'm not getting much out of the hover that I wish I was. Okay, I gotta reprogram my brain to do these controls. But yeah, I do think it's... I don't know how much that would be awkward for other people versus just me not being used to a different way, you know. A lot of it's just me not being used to something different. Okay, whoop, there we go. All right. Restart. So targets remain 4. I guess there's perhaps a win condition if I actually eliminate all 4 of them without flying into the wall or ground or whatever. Gosh, I don't know how to... I guess slowing down isn't really an option. Unless you have like a lot of space. Oops. My guns... Okay, they are equipped. They have gravity. Or they probably inherit your motion. I'm surprised that thing hasn't died. Okay. My guess is that the shots inherit your motion, so they're not really going where you point exactly because of that. So that's something to try to account for, I guess. Try using the brakes this time. All right. Oh gosh, I gotta... Okay, I think I just got blown up by the bullets. So, this is kind of silly. I mean, we've got this whole thing where we've got a ground mode and a hover mode and a flight mode, and it kind of seems like there's not much use for the ground mode at the moment. Particularly if the enemies are designed like that, where they just hammer you with bullets if you just kind of sit on the ground like that. So I guess I'm looking for the justification for the concept at this point, because it's, you know, obviously it's cool, but conceptually it's cool, but in terms of practicality... Oh gosh. Yeah, so that's a question I'd like to see answered, is why land on the ground and stuff. Which you know, there may very well be a future answer to those things, but as of right now, it doesn't seem like there's much reason for it. Okay, that's too bad. Oof, gosh, what should I do different? I gotta control the thing better, but I'm just struggling a little bit with I guess just like how to slow down when you need to. I do feel like this this hover booster that I keep trying to use feels really weak. I gotta stop somehow. Ugh. No. Allow me to go the way I want to. Okay. Okay. Up. We need airborne, or we're gonna get shot down. Oh gosh. Okay, rotate. Pitch down. I'm trying to pitch down. Gosh, it's really pitching down slow this time. I guess, oh, it's because I wasn't in airplane mode, I think. Ew, gosh, yeah, I'm not doing too good, unfortunately. Alright, again, let's see what we can do. Alright, less slowing down this time. I guess that's one way to eliminate the issue, is just not try to slow down and do fine maneuvers around the buildings and stuff. I'm trying to make up my mind, like, the amount of inertia and how long it takes to turn and stuff, it kind of limits your ability to do any sort of weaving around these buildings and stuff. So I feel like you have to really plan ahead somehow or something. I can't just do like a 90-degree turn very easily unless I have everything set up right, I guess. Just turn around like this. I don't know. By the way, I don't normally play like sim-focused flight games, you know what I mean? So I have trouble in controlling those games too. So it's not necessarily different in this case. But we're doing our best here. Okay. So we can do this one. Why is it shooting down there? Looks like it's shooting to the right a little bit. I don't know why. Oh no, I got shot. Okay, in the top left, I guess that's what your health is. I haven't looked at that at all. At the moment, there's not much feedback, so, you know, obviously for a more complete game, I'd like to see a lot more feedback. You know, when you take damage, when you do damage, all these things, it helps a lot. That kind of stuff. Wow, I didn't know. Gosh, I almost flew into that building. It felt really unexpected. Yeah, gosh. I'm pretty sure I can kill all 4 of these, but I just gotta survive long enough to do so, I guess. Why does it seem to shoot? Like, I'm trying to make sense of it, like, something to do with my inertia being not quite straightforward or something, but it doesn't quite make sense to me. It doesn't seem to shoot straight sometimes. Okay. Or is it trying to compensate for... Gosh, I'm gonna hit the ground from the side. Is it trying to compensate for my velocity vector? So that it hits where I'm aiming? That must be what it's doing. That's interesting. Okay, well... That's interesting. Yeah, I would have. My thought would have been to put like some kind of a visual indication, like where to aim for it to hit in the middle, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like how to lead the shot. But I guess this is another solution. Please die. Okay. So it looks like you have some sort of inaccuracy built into the enemies. It looked like he was kind of working on that aim. I would like to see maybe more of an interruption in the shooting instead of it just being a continuous stream of bullets. And I did take some damage. I don't really know at what point I was getting hurt because there's not really any sort of feedback for that right now, but it looks like I'm a little low on the health anyways. Can shoot from quite far away. It's not necessarily very accurate, but Alright, well, I killed them all finally. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of his... Whoop. Is it, I kind of lost my concentration there at the end. It looked like the screen was, like, graying out a little bit or something, and I started getting... Oh, it's because... Okay, it's because I'm aiming up and it's doing the, I'm looking at the sun, so it's doing the thing where it adjusts the light. What was that called? I'm supposed to know what that's called. I don't know what's... It's just not happening in my head right now. But, yeah, so that was interesting. Obviously, it's a lot to do with just getting used to the flight and everything. Personally, I would like to see it a little bit easier to control and everything, but that's my personal taste. I know people like their flight sims and everything, which are also difficult to control for me, personally. I definitely have trouble with the... like I've already said, the A and D being rolling, and that's just a matter of like being able to change the controls, you know, obviously. So that's something I'd like to be able to do differently. It does make sense if you have this sort of mouse aiming, that you're not gonna have roll on the mouse, like, you know, and like I said, that's how my game works. But yeah, that is pretty awkward for me, and there is some redundancy, right, to like the fact that you can just turn the mech like this, or you can do the roll and pitch thing that you do with like the flying. So it's just something about that, like the redundancy there is a little bit awkward, and I think in a way. Okay, crown mode. Oh. Pitch. Oh, I'm getting my nose stuck on the ground here. I was trying to. Okay, yeah. I gotta get off the ground before I try and fly, or it's gonna screw me up here. So, if I can get up, okay, off the ground, then we fly. Ow! Don't do that. All right. So if I'm like, I'm cruising, and then I'm like, hey, let me go a little bit further here. Okay. Then I hit the ground. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing like a lot of cool ground maneuvers here and stuff. I just don't have enough control to. Oh, I don't know what happened. So I'm thinking maybe because I was kind of struggling with like how do I slow down and turn around and stuff once I need to do those things. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I should try going back into mech mode, and then maybe that'll give me some like a little bit of a different sort of maneuverability. If I jump in and I land on the ground or something, and then I can do different things. But it's kind of like might be true to some extent, but I don't feel like I can do all that much. Alright, yeah, I gotta get flipped over like that. I don't know what to do. You just have to try and roll over. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like this is like kind of a cool idea to swap between the modes a lot. I'm gonna hit that. Yeah, well, if nothing else, I would love it if the oops, this hover thruster was a lot stronger. Like if you're just trying to get up in the air from the ground, then it's pretty adequate for that, I guess. But like if you're actually trying to do maneuvers and stuff, I feel like you could do a lot more with that. I might be a little biased because my game is kind of built around that, but like how are you supposed to slow down? I don't really see any way to slow down other than taking a really long time for your craft to slow down. So that's just what my brain is defaulting to, is that I have this hover booster that in theory I could point opposite to my velocity, and then maybe that'll work, but it's not really giving me much. So yeah, I don't know. There's ideas here. It's a little hard to tell like what doing things one way is going to be better than doing things another. It's like nothing's really obviously working that I'm trying to do, other than just obviously going really slow. But I mean, in terms of like if I have this sort of fantasy where I'm gonna fly in like a jet, and then I'm gonna switch into hover mode, and then I'm gonna land on the ground, and then I'm gonna start doing like ground maneuvers and slide around on the ground, and then I'm gonna pop into the jet mode and fly over here real quick, and then pop back into the ground mode and start doing this. It's like I can imagine all that, but when I actually try and do it, it's like things don't really work that way. I guess it certainly doesn't seem that way. So instead, I'm not really getting a clear sense of the different modes having different functionality and benefit that I can clearly see, and this and that. So that's kind of where I'm at with the way things are right now. And yeah, in terms of just slowing down, once you get somewhere, I mean, if it's just an airplane game, you're not really doing that. Obviously, you have times when you go slower or faster, but you're not going to slow to a crawl or slow to a stop if you're just an airplane. But this isn't just an airplane, right? So you're not just doing strafing runs or whatever. And you know, usually aren't flying an airplane through a sort of metropolis or whatever you want to call this. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's my thoughts on it. I'm not sure if there's anything else for me to say, but definitely cool idea. It's certainly up my alley, so I appreciate that. Apart from the fact that I did mention, you know, these sort of sim-esque controls aren't necessarily my cup of tea in terms of the, you know, the difficulty of. I keep hitting the wrong button here. The difficulty of the handling, but yeah, there's definitely cool ideas here, and I didn't try the different weapons and stuff. I'll probably not spend too much time on that. I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference. Oof. Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up the video. Hopefully that was useful for you. It's definitely interesting, and I'm curious to see where this goes. It's clearly in a very early state right now, so lots of room for improvement from here, and it'll be really interesting to see. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video.